Hey, what's up everyone? Crypto Henry here. In this video, I'm going to give you one huge reason why I believe that DeFi, crypto, and blockchain is such a disruptive technology that is here to stay and it is going to make billions of dollars to a lot of people. And how can you benefit from it? And also, I'm going to give you one indicator that can give us huge clues why this is the next big thing. And this indicator would have worked with the first industrial revolution over 200 years ago and all the big innovation cycles. This indicator will show you that we are in front of a big innovation cycle, in front of a big industrial revolution. And I'm going to tell you everything about this indicator. So stay with me. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. And by the way, this cool image here I've created using an AI called Midjourney. Basically, ask the AI to create an image of a beautiful Asian cyberpunk with a brain implant. And this is what I got. Not bad, right? Okay, but let's go ahead and talk about this indicator and what are the clues that you can get to spot big innovation cycles, big industrial revolutions, right? So, as I'm going to show you in a bit, 200 something years ago, over 70% of the population used to work in agriculture. And then we had the first industrial revolution. You have the creation of engine, and now you have trains, you have agriculture machines that are replacing people. So instead of having 100 people working in agriculture, you have maybe 10 people, because many of these people were replaced by machines. And then you have the second industrial revolution, electricity-based mass production. Now you have production lines. And again, people that used to do a lot of manual work, now they switched for something else. So maybe in the factory there was 1,000 people, now you need only 100 people to maintain the machines. Then we had the third industrial revolution, the computer and internet industrial revolution. You know, I have studied accounting and I can't imagine how boring accounting was like 50 years ago. Imagine doing accounting without computers. Now you have all these softwares that automate all the accounting, and one accountant now can probably do the work of 5 accountants. And now we have AI and all these technologies that are helping us even further. It's not that these jobs will not be necessary anymore. We still need accountants. It's just that one accountant can do the job of 5 accountants like 50 years ago before computers. And I also want to show you here these innovation cycles. Investors, entrepreneurs, and people that spot these innovation cycles at the very beginning are the ones that get very wealthy. And I'm going to give you one indicator that will help you to spot the innovation cycles again. But if you look, for example, at John Rockefeller, Dale Carnegie, they spotted here the Industrial Revolution, the innovation waves here. So Dale Carnegie was the steel guy, the steel businessman. And he was one of the richest people in the world because he spotted this trend early and risked it, right? He invested in this business. Then we have, for example, Henry Ford, that around here in the early 1900s, he took advantage of electricity to create production lines that would automate manufacturing a car. And with these production lines, he reduced the time to build a car from 12 hours to only 1.5 hours. How crazy is that? And he took also advantage of innovations related to the internal combustion engine that these cars were using. So in all these different innovation cycles, you have a lot of people that get very rich. You have probably very present people that got rich by leveraging digital networks, software, new media, all these big companies, the FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Google, Netflix. All these companies take advantage of these technologies over here. And in this chart, again, I just want to basically show that these machines and automation change the way we work, right? 200 years ago, 70-something% of the population works in agriculture. Now, thankfully, only like 5% of the population works in agriculture. Personally, I don't want to go to the fields and dig potatoes and onions and pumpkins. let the machines do this, and we can spend our time with higher purposes, with bigger problems, solving bigger problems, and with more creative work. Also, what we have here is that whenever we have these innovation cycles and whenever people move to work in higher tech businesses, we have an increment in terms of the net income per employee or net revenue per employee. So each employee of every company is producing more. So imagine if you are working in agriculture, manual work, you can only produce this much that you can physically handle with. But if we have machines working for us, now each person is able to leverage their work by relying on machines. This is what humans have been trying to do for like thousands of years, and it's what we continue to do with AI and blockchain and crypto and DeFi. So I'm going to talk about what does it have to do with crypto and DeFi, but I will let you know in a few minutes. So again, I made this chart here where in this axis you have the return on investment and you have here the industry maturation. And of course, if you invest in very mature industries, I put here some examples, utilities like electricity, railroads, textile, agriculture, these are lower risk investments. If you go to the stock market and pick companies in these sectors, they are lower risk, right? Not much volatility, but you cannot expect also huge returns. If you invest in these companies, on average, they will not probably like 10x your investment. However, if you look at investments more in this side here, you can have higher risk, of course, but also higher returns. Look, if you have invested, for example, on Apple computers back in 1985, the year I was born, you will have returned 11,600x. You will have multiplied your investment by 11,600 because back then computers was in this hand here. It was a high risk thing, right? Because 1995, that was 37 years ago. No one was really sure if computer was going to be like in the homes of everyone, right? If you have believed in Google in 1999, like Shaquille O'Neal and other investments believed in, you would have multiplied your investment by over 10,000x, 10,000 times your investment. The average Google investor in 1999, the average angel investor invested $50,000, which returned $75 million. And finally, if you have invested in Tesla pre-IPO in 2006, you'll have returned your investment by 1,600x. So this is basically just to say, of course, that early stage investments that are at the beginning of their innovation cycles, right? At the beginning of the innovation cycles are the ones that generate huge returns. And now, what do we have at the edge of these innovation cycles? So we have these technologies over here, right? AI and IoT is not really new. It kind of already exists for at least 20 years. But now, the indicator that I'm going to show you, the net income per employee, is creating huge leaps in terms of the efficiency that these technologies can bring to the industry. So in this chart over here, I'm showing the net revenue per employee for the top companies in terms of net revenue per employee. And here at the top, you have Apple, Facebook, Alphabet, which is Google. And what do these companies that were amazing investments, what did they have in common? They are highly efficient. They can generate a lot of sales per employee. So for each person that they hire, on average, they can sell 1.3, 1.6, 1.9 million dollars. So they are very highly scalable businesses. They can scale up the sales, they can sell way more without increasing their costs and their human resources that much. And that takes me to this chart over here. So here I'll compare different DeFi protocols, DYDX, Uniswap, Yearn, Aave, and Compound, and MakerDAO with other sectors. And what we see here? We see that DeFi protocols are highly efficient in terms of revenue per employee or net income per employee when compared to other sectors. You have here like JP Morgan, Vanguard, industrial sector, financial sector, the average is way lower than pretty much all the DeFi protocols. And Why is it this way? Well, because in the traditional industries are highly centralized. If nobody shows up to work tomorrow at JP Morgan or HSBC or Citibank or any other big bank, if nobody shows up to work, the bank simply stops. The customers cannot transact anymore if no one shows up to work. Now, what happens if no one shows up to work tomorrow in a DeFi protocol, in a lending protocol, on a DEX, a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, or a perpetuals futures exchange like TYDX, or nobody shows up to work on Aave? So what happens if tomorrow no one shows up to work in pretty much any DeFi protocol? Nothing happens. The users will not even notice because DeFi protocols are not reliant on people. They are reliant on smart contracts. Smart contracts automate all these DeFi protocols. You have DeFi protocols like decentralized exchanges, like Uniswap, a decentralized lending like Aave, and so many others. And all these DeFi protocols, they are automated via smart contracts. Of course, they still need some people because you need to have developers to improve the smart contracts. They improve the smart contracts maybe once a year. They have developers to develop the web front end, the website. They have marketing team. They have social media managers and all this stuff. But in terms of operations, they pretty much don't need people to operate. So they provide a huge innovation leap, a huge industrial revolution, because now you don't need people. All the other industries, all the other industries that we have been looking at here, you need people for these industries, right? But imagine now with blockchain, crypto, and DeFi, what we are basically creating is an industry that is not reliant on people at all. In theory, you can just have a young guy in his bedroom creating a smart contract, and this smart contract is able to process billions of dollars. In fact, we had already in the past very successful DeFi smart contracts, DeFi protocols that were created by one single guy and processed like billions of dollars. So this will never be possible in a traditional company. So to spot the next big trends, what we need to spot is huge increments in terms of the revenue per employee. It was true in these industries that I'm showing here. It was true here. John Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, they all spotted these big innovation leaps by understanding how efficient these industries can become. And now what's bringing huge efficiency leaps is DeFi, crypto, blockchain, decentralization, because now you can automate things with smart contracts. And people are saying like, oh, AI is going to replace our jobs. I don't think so. Because, for example, these industries that we see here, financial sector, JP Morgan, Vanguard, pretty much any big bank, they use a ton of AI already, right? But it doesn't mean that this AI is replacing everyone's job. It's improving a little bit the performance, the efficiency of these companies, but it's everything very slow. Now, DeFi is highly disruptive because DeFi barely existed like 3 years ago, and now you can have these DeFi protocols running on the blockchain, on the Ethereum blockchain, and they process billions of dollars every day. And if no one shows up to work tomorrow, they continue to work business as usual. They are not relying on people. That's why I think this is so revolutionary. And it's even more revolutionary than software as a service business models, right? Investors really love SaaS model because you can increase the revenue, the sales, without increasing the costs proportionally. So if you have like Netflix, Spotify, Adobe Photoshop, all these softwares are software as a service. So you pay a monthly subscription and they basically have already developed the software. So the costs don't increase that much, but they still increase. They need to provision servers, they need to hire more people, more customer service, and so on. Now, DeFi business models are quite different because you can increase the revenue ad infinitum and not increase the costs at all. So the gross profit of these DeFi protocols is way bigger than any other industry. Of course, in this case, I'm not really counting with the token issuance that some of these protocols do. Some of these protocols, they issue more tokens to reward the liquidity providers, to reward the users, to reward the ecosystem. I'm not counting with that. I'm just counting with the pure revenue and pure costs of these DeFi protocols. So this is why I'm a true believer that we are in front of a big industrial revolution, a big innovation leap. Look, DeFi 3 years ago, I think the total TVL was like a couple of $1 million. Now at the moment, at the time of the recording of this video, is around $50 billion. And around December 2021 was $180 billion. So I think this has the potential to really disrupt the financial industry, to make the financial industry way more decentralized, way more efficient. And again, we can measure these big efficiency leaps by looking at the revenue per employee. These businesses basically don't need people to run. We still need people, of course. That's why some of the hottest jobs in the IT industry in software at the moment is to be a blockchain developer, to be a smart contract developer. This is a very, very hot sector. And it's a hot sector because, again, people see the potential of this industry. So with this video, I'm not telling you that you should go all in or that you should buy any of these DeFi protocols that I show here. I'm not endorsing any of these. What I'm saying is, how can you spot a big trend? And we can spot these trends by looking at big leaps in terms of the revenue per employee. Because again, if we look at these innovation cycles, if we look at the different industrial revolutions, what we had is big performance leaps, big efficiency leaps, and we can measure these basically with the net revenue per employee or net income per employee. By the way, if you want to learn more about DeFi, you can check my DeFi course. I have the link to that DeFi course in the resources section of this video. It's probably the most complete DeFi course ever created. So check out that link if you want to learn more about the most disruptive technology in the world. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And as always, I'll see you next time.